What's going on, everybody? It's AquaLeaderJesse back again with some more gaming news. And today, this comes to us from Push Square. Brazil is taking on digital games ownership and preservation after Sony says no more discs. I heard about this earlier today, and this is what I'm finally going to be able to get to report on it. It appears that Brazil is concerning itself with matters relating to consumer rights when it comes to digital games. So it's not just the EU that's been transforming the tech world to be more consumer friendly. It's also seems like it might be Brazil. But is Brazil enough to make the big changes? Is the real question. But hopefully it is. Federal Deputy Jandira Fagali recently proposed a new bill directly inspired by the Stop Killing Games movement that aims to prevent online games from ceasing to exist when official support comes to an end. Essentially, before I continue on this, they're introducing a bill. It hasn't been passed yet, but they're introducing a bill that would require games to be accessible and playable to the player after service goes offline, essentially, if I read it correctly. The bill stipulates that publishers must clearly inform customers about a game's reliance on online servers at the point of sale. Furthermore, they must also outline a minimum support period, which cannot be less than 2 years from a game's launch in Brazil. Okay, so I've immediately proven wrong. I was misinformed. Um, I didn't get it from this article initially. It's from a video of someone else reporting on it. Um, it also says publishers must inform consumers about any termination of service no less than 180 days in advance, notifying the players in the game itself, on official social channels, and through other means. The bill suggests three options for what happens after a game is shut down. The company can release an update to allow for offline play, provide tools to the community to keep it going themselves, or reimburse them proportionally based on how much time they spent with the game. Okay, so it was somewhat well informed. There's just more to it than what I was told. Failure to comply with these regulations would incur fines. I think they would just rather incur fines, to be honest with you, depending on how hefty the fines are. But there's a bit more to it, but it shares a lot in common with the aforementioned Stop Killing Games initiative, which has been campaigning for much the same thing in Europe. The bill still needs to make it through several layers of the legislative process, so it's far from becoming law, but it's interesting to see this cropping up in global politics, especially in light of Sony's decision to discontinue the production of game discs in 2028. Speaking of which, Federal Deputy Erica Hilton has requested an investigation into Sony Interactive Entertainment and its plan for a purely digital landscape. In the document, she argues that it will restrict certain rights associated with the game's physical ownership, or physical game ownership, such as reselling, lending to friends, and preservation. She also says the move does not consider areas of the world, including parts of Brazil, that are currently not equipped with high speed internet access and that rely on physical stores and the secondhand market to purchase games. That is also true. Downloading would suck there. Let me double check this, but I believe, do they still sell the Master System in Brazil? Yep, it's still being manufactured and sold in Brazil. The Master System was Sega's competitor to the original Nintendo, the NES. It's produced by Tectoy. The console remains in continuous production 37 years after its 1989 launch in the country, making it the longest lived console in any region ever. Yeah. Yeah, so the Master System is still made in Brazil. That's Brazil is a. And this makes it sound like I'm joking about it, but Brazil is not exactly like a high income type of country. Um, so like the Master System is still something that's actively sold there because of that. Um, if I understand correctly, but Hilton suggests Sony's plans may contravene several articles within Brazil's Consumer Protection Code and asks that this be investigated by Sinacon, the country's governmental consumer rights group. It's still early days on all this, and things generally move pretty slowly in politics, but it'll be interesting to see whether this amounts to anything. PlayStation is currently in everyone's bad books, with any social post dogpiled by angry fans protesting the eradication of physical games, including myself. Whenever they announced the fights, or whenever they not announced, whenever they tweeted the ad for that fight stick, the Flex whatever, I was like, I replied to them, said that why is it a physical fight stick? Digital fight sticks are the way of the future. That's what consumer trends are leaning towards. Why isn't this a digital fight stick? Something along the lines of that. But regardless, it's good to see that there are countries, potentially at least, taking a stand towards physical game ownership and preservation for the future. Hopefully, this can mean we can keep physical games. Hopefully, this means that live service games can at least stay playable, or at the very least, customers get reimbursed somewhat for their games. Granted, that would only technically apply in Brazil, but as we've seen with like the EU's regulations, it can um, it can lead to worldwide change. That's why iPhones have USB-C now, because the EU stopped them from doing the anti-consumer practice of having their own proprietary charger you have to use specifically for their products, and then use a different charger for everything else. But yeah, so let me know what you think down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you follow me on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/AquaLeaderJesse, where all my videos are recorded first, but those will be uploaded here afterwards. Don't you worry. Thank you and have a good day. Bye.